Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Soulful Intuitive. Today, we are going to touch up on self-esteem. I think one of the issues that we all struggle with. We look outside of ourselves, we look at other people, and often we think, do they ever suffer from what we're suffering from? Because no matter what people look from the outside and what we think they're feeling on the inside, it's almost never true. Self-esteem, or the lack of self-esteem, is a problem that we as human beings collectively are suffering from. And the answer that we've been given throughout the past, especially few decades, is the more you focus on your external shell, you will feel better about yourself, which there's a factor in there. If we feel good about the reflection in the mirror, if we feel healthy, if we have a lot of energy, if we feel excited to live on this planet, sure. But the extreme focus on how we look and how we come across to other people in terms of our physicalities have been the main problem for an ever-plunging lack of self-esteem and ever-plunging feeling of being not good enough and feeling insecure. Feeling insecure has nothing to do with your nose or your skin or your muscular shapes. It has nothing to do with if you are considered sexy or if you're considered beautiful. Feeling insecure is not knowing who we are on the inside. To really work on our genuine, authentic self-esteem, I think we should all go back to when we were very young, when we were little kids. And if we can ask our parents or our primary caregivers or family members who have a better memory of who we were when we were very young and what really got us excited and passionate and what we were naturally gravitating towards, then we can build our real, true self-esteem and feeling of self-worth based on qualities that aren't fading as time goes by. Because even the most beautiful skin, the most alluring eyes, the beautiful chiseled face, the most athletic chiseled body, as time goes by, will fall apart. That's just the rules of our planet. We have 4 seasons, and most of the planet is not just stuck in spring and summer. So, in order to build a thorough, bulletproof self-worth and self-esteem, we need to base it upon our gifts, the gifts that are unique to us, the gifts that we were born with, that little spark that we all had, what made us curious, what we were naturally attracted to, what we were gifted in, and build our self-esteem based on that. For example, I remember when I was very young and my hobbies almost haven't changed. Like when I was 6 or 7, and if we were having a snow day and we had to stay home, after I did my homeworks and what I was supposed to do, my reward, if I was being a good kid that day, would have been to either decorate our house or redecorate our house, or to go into closets and organize them. Or I had female cousins. If they came over, I would do their hair, braided ponytails, just basically playing with their hair. And as I got older, I realized that my gift is really beautifying on externally. Like I was very into doing girls' hair because most of my friends were and my cousins were females, and also doing makeup and putting makeup on them. And I also had a gift with interior decorating. I would walk into any rooms and I would see furniture flying around in front of my eyes and see where should everything go in order for the room to have more harmony. And it was so bad that my parents at some point had to tell me not to redecorate strangers' homes or rooms if we went to a party and I was left alone in a living room or a family room, and they would come back and I would have done something to change the order of things, and that I would always have to ask for permission, and that was the beginning. And then as I got a little bit older, I realized that I just have an ability to sit with anyone and have them open up to me. I would come home from school and I was always full of stories, and I would just tell my mom everything that's happened, and my mom would patiently listen and also think that at times I was just using my imagination. But the things that I was telling her was mainly things that were happening throughout the day, whether it was the bus driver that was talking to me, or my teacher, or the maintenance guy at the school, or my teachers, or my classmates. And she always asked me, how come is it that people just tell you these things, and how come they don't tell me these things? Is because I had that particular gift and she has her own gifts. And as I got older, I actually struggled when I was after high school. I struggled in terms of which direction to go, because I was also good with academics, and somehow I was thinking maybe medicine. And as I put in long hours of volunteering at a hospital, I realized that that's really not for me. So I turned into social studies. I studied psychology at university, and then I went into fashion design and interior design, and ultimately landed a longer career doing hair as a hairstylist and cosmetologist. But the minute that I started valuing my gifts and building a life around it, I felt an immense surge of my self-esteem. I started to feel more comfortable in my own skin. I started to just be comfortable and proud of what I naturally can do in order to service other people and make them feel better. And I think ultimately all of our gifts are given to us in order for us to service others, not ourselves. And the joy and the contentment that we feel when we are offering our gift to others and providing a service that will make them feel better is all the rewards that we need. But also miraculously, since we have been giving, the universe gives back to us, and the reward is self-esteem. Because that feeling of having a gift and being a funnel, being a vessel for universe to stream through you and help others, there are no words for it, is priceless. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that this is only way to build a healthy self-esteem, to build a way to feel good about yourself almost all the time. And it's not going to go away with age. It's not going to go anywhere as we get older. And the anxiety of losing what we put our attention on is going to be very little, as opposed to putting focus on your good looks or your good physique or even your sharp mind. These are all qualities that as time goes by will unfortunately be on the decline, and then we're left with the anxiety of who are we without these qualities. And looking at our pop culture world these days, we see certain pop stars that we admire growing up, being beautiful women or men, and so successful. And as they got older, their looks started to fade and their fame started to go down, and they just couldn't cope with it. And a lot of them, unfortunately, fell into addiction and self-destructive behavior, whether it was booze or drugs, or whether excessive plastic surgery, that their looks are unrecognizable these days. And we look at them and we wonder why. They have all the money, they have all the fame. Why is it that they can't just be and accept themselves? And when we look at their videos on social media or clips, it's hard not to notice that air of insecurity, the air of losing their self-worth. And it's very sad, and it should be a lesson to all of us that as much as we want to fit in, because if we look at the Botox and filler trends, and everyone is starting to look exactly the same, which is a definition of fitting in, because you want to be accepted, and that seems to be a way to be accepted, as opposed to just believing in yourself and accepting who you are. I remember back in the day when Jennifer Lopez was starting her career and everybody was making fun of her rear end and how round and large it was, and she accepted her assets and she put it on the map, and she could have, and she did have the money to go lipo her ass out. She was able to hire trainers and make it a size that was appropriate for the 90s. Instead, what she did was she accepted her body and she put it on the map, and unfortunately that made a lot of people who didn't have the derriere like that to go and get plastic surgery in order to look like her. But when we look at J-Lo, especially from the 90s, and we saw the fact that she accepted herself exactly as she was, and we found that sexy and empowering, was because she accepted herself and she wasn't trying to be something else, as opposed to, a certain family with their reality show who have changed everything about themselves and made that mainstream. And then as just bystanders, we look at a lot of girls and even boys who are trying to change everything about themselves. And that is maybe a very short time recipe for happiness, but long-term recipe for disaster, because these trends will end and they will end up with a deformality that they have to live with. Not only that they spent all of that hard-earned cash on looking like someone else, they also have to spend the money to maintain it, and they have to spend money later on to change it to the new trend. So to wrap this up and to just simply put it, we have to look inside, we have to find our gifts that are true to us, that are unique to us, and we have to build a garden around that, because those are the seeds that we were all given, and every single one of us has their unique seeds, and then we'll make a garden that will flourish, and that garden then will be used to service others through the gift that we were given. And by using our true gift and servicing others, we experience joy, acceptance, and the feeling of gratitude and contentment. And that is the only recipe for a healthy self-esteem and for feeling worthy, and on our way to be healthy and to maintain our body in the best shape. Yes, we have to also pay attention to our self-care to maintain a healthy body, but that doesn't mean that if we're short, we have to do whatever we can to be tall, and if we're tall, we have to go cut off our limbs and be short, depending on what is the trend of the day. If we are flat-chested, then we have to be large-chested, and if we have a flat butt, then we have to have a large butt, because the only reason why we look at someone and we really see self-esteem, we really see and feel comfort that they have in their skin, is the fact that they have fully accepted who they are and what the universe has given them, and use that in order to navigate in this world and in order to service others. And it will be amazing if all of us have all the gifts, but the universe doesn't work like that. And in order to create and maintain harmony and justice and balance, we are all given certain seeds. But if all of these seeds are put together as a collective, then from the above view, we look and it's the most luscious, beautiful, tropical jungle where everything and anything thrives, and no one has to compete with no one else, because we're all unique in our own ways, and we are comfortable with our gifts, not arrogant, because the gifts are given to us. It doesn't belong to us. It is lent to us for this lifetime. So we can find it, we can acknowledge it, we can grow it, and then we can use it to serve others. So be proud, be aware, find your gifts, and that is the recipe for a lifelong feeling worthy and strong self-esteem and self-worth. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.